In the first part, you saw me play some very bad video games. Well, sadly the tradition continues in part 2. This is Chrome Hounds, a game which was meant to replace the top game known as Mech Warrior. And believe me, it doesn't suit Mech Warrior. It doesn't even feel like a good replacement for Mech Warrior. It starts off by stating that a tragic event happened which caused a massive war. Unfortunately, they don't say what the tragic event is, who's involved, but they say a tragic event happens and a war has been formed. Not to say that that is useful or anything, but it gives you no idea what happened. For all you know, the president might be involved, president's son. It doesn't help. There's no clue. It just says an event happens, there's a war. By that logic, technically every time I end up scratching my bum, a war should begin.
This gave birth to a new industry, further changing the rules of war. Backed by numerous military corporations, a single organization rose to the top of the industry. The mercenary group Pravsakayo. The scattered and homeless refugees who lost their homes in war rallied to its banner and were trained as guns for hire. These mercenaries had no homes to defend and no people to protect. They merely fought to survive, and many simply to die fighting.
Unfortunately, before you can actually start playing the game, you have to go through a training session. The training session is not entirely useful because all it is to teach you what button does what, and also how to, attack other enemies. It's not entirely useful because they could just do it like this, the quick system of up, down, left, right, hit this target, hit that target, end it. Even if it's like Titanfall, for example. Titanfall made it good. Titanfall made it simple because it was a brand new game. This one, it dragged it on. And I mean dragged it on. Well, when the first training mission is done, let's begin the game. After all this, right, let's begin. Let's start. That one. Oh great, another training mission. Ugh. And after another training session, there are actual missions, but it's not worth it. Because after 2 training missions, you feel like you've actually played the game, but really you've gone nowhere. This is Mindjack, a game where you technically invade other people's minds and use them for your own wicked ways. Problem is, throughout the first level, which is the only level I played before I acknowledged how boring this game was, there's not much in the realm of jacking minds. If there's anything it resembles a usual third-person shooting game, and even then it resembles a very, very bad one. There's nothing much interesting about this except for this the very first cutscene, which acknowledges how boring this game is.
She's here, and whom she's come to see.
As the game goes on, we notice how a lack of enjoyment is around here. We could say a lot of things about the game, but it's not worth talking about it. The only thing positive to say about it is that they tried to do something different, but the problem was they didn't do enough of what was different. So, just don't bother with it. Now we move to Enter the Matrix. This game was branded as being one of the best Matrix games out there, but in reality there's only two characters to choose, Ghost and Nairobi. This is before the entire Matrix Revolution game actually began, which was known as The Path of Neo. This was based on a story from The Matrix Reloaded, which was the second film, but instead of actually following Neo, Morpheus, Trinity and Agent Smith, we follow these two in a way of unknown capabilities. In other words, we find out more of the story that the movie didn't tell us about, which means in order to make sense of the movie you had to play this, but you had to play this to understand the movie at the same time, and none of them make sense at all. Charlie's Angels, the game where you didn't want it to be made, got made. This was a tie-in to the second Charlie's Angels film, Full Throttle, as if I remember. And apparently this is actually a storyline that was originally, and quote-unquote originally, meant to be the third film for some bizarre reason, but never got actually made because this came out before the film. Doesn't make sense, that, does it? So apparently the story is monuments disappear and it's up to you to find the monuments. Yeah. It's not entirely much of a super mission, is it? It's just, I'm pretty sure that if you look in a warehouse you might find, oh look, there's Big Ben, oh there's the Statue of Liberty, oh there's the Eiffel Tower, there you are, mission solved. Who owns this warehouse? There you go, mission over. And yet they dragged it out to be a massive reason to ask, why the hell did he decide to steal these monuments?
We should check it out.
Break it down, boss. How do we get aboard?
In order to approach it without drawing too much attention, you girls will sign up for the Miss Bikini contest on the beach.
That ought to keep the sailors occupied.
Well, the game begins, and unbelievably, it doesn't work out as planned. I mean, look at this. All you get is a simple button mashing wave of enemies. And not only that, you can't turn the camera angle. I mean, I'm not joking, I've actually... The times I keep getting hit, I'm there trying to fiddle around, trying to find out what button changes the camera angles. Turns out, nothing changes the camera angle. You're stuck in this fixed position from start to end, and it is really annoying. The only guidance you have is that arrow right there. Jumping motion, unbelievably pathetic. It's that much of a laugh, it makes me even wish that I was on the moon for some weird reason. Yep, I'm trying to figure out what button opens this door. Turns out it's the action button, which doesn't hint. So I was there mindlessly pushing buttons to figure out what was the action button. But it holds nothing compared to this. Once again, I'm there hitting the action button. Believe it or not, it doesn't turn out to be the action button. You have to walk towards it. Oh God, I'm not joking. It was a very, very long climb. It was that annoying. I almost thought I was going to fall asleep climbing a ladder. And that's not often I do that on a video game. Oh, finally, we got a new character. That's unbelievable. Let's just move on quick. Another game that people asked me to review is Alien Isolation. The reason for this is because of the Xbox version of their reviews. It was majority of the Xbox reviews that stated that this was a first-person shooting game because of certain pictures involving them with guns in their hands. But in reality, it was a survival horror. And turn of fact here, the reviews did get altered and are now referred to as a survival horror. So there's no high end, low end of the situation. In reality, this is not considered to be a bad game. This is actually a brilliant, well placed out game. So in reality, if people say that this is a bad game, ask them why they think it's a bad game. And if they agree with the reviews, I'll even quote the reviews saying that this is a first-person shooting game. I played it, it's not a first-person shooting game. Tell them that it's actually a survival horror game, and the people that reviewed it are wrong. And they've actually had to redo the reviews, and so on. So, the horror is there, which is good. The level of terror, which is perfect, especially for it being an Alien game, is brilliant. And the fact that it being first-person shooting, or should I say FPS, or first-person view, POV, whichever one you want to call it, it is just adds the icing to the cake of success. However, if we are talking about bad Alien games, Colonial Marines is right there on the shit scale of shitness. The reason it is bad is because, well, for starters, it was aimed at a real hardcore FPS game. And, well, yeah, there's other FPS games I can think of with the Alien name that are a lot better. Like, for example, Alien Trilogy. This one was trying to tie it in so much to the second Aliens film that it just went way off course by making it from an action game to a benign action game. And benign is the nicest way I can put this, because everything that was meant to be thrilling, horror related action wasn't there. And that just makes it really, really sad. Especially with all the homages to the Alien film that were there. Anything else about this game, it's just an embarrassment from start to finish. No more, no less. There's nothing I can actually say to give this game the quality it deserves. Now we're moving on to the grand pile of the shittest pile of shitting motherfucking crap I've ever seen. Crazy Frog Racing. Where can I go with this? It was horrible, it was awful, it was god damn pathetic. I mean, I could actually list a lot of good games than this. Mario Kart, the Sonic games, Street Racer, Crash Nitro Kart, you know, Crash Tag Team Racing, anything. It would be better than this piece of shit, basic god awfulness. I mean, majority of the time I get falling off the track for no reason. There's no barrier unless you hit the barrier while you're on the damn track. When you're off the track, that's it. You're fucked. You're completely, utterly fucked. Not only that, the little weaponry system, none of them have an exact price. So you could just guess at the price of how much they could have at least unlocked them, but no, they didn't. It was like, once you get coins, you can buy all the weapons. And that is just utterly fucking disgusting. It's so bad, I can't even believe that I played this shit. Not only that, it gets even worse. It gets to a point where I have to admit there was a hell on earth that could actually replace this. And you know what that hell is? Crazy Frog Racer 2. Unbelievably, they just slapped the same game in new worlds and they made it, for some strange reason, better. For starters, you actually now have a selection of weapons. The coin's only there to use for unknown reasons, except there's like a coin game, but I've not played it. So finally, they actually improved on shitness, but it's still shit. No matter how much you polish that turd, it's still a goddamn fucking turd. Well, that's it. All the games have been reviewed. But I will be honest, there is one big issue. I did have a lot of requests for a lot of games. And I do have a lot of games. And there could be a lot more reviews coming by.